Okay. There's some trouble with the camera. Give us just a minute. This is April 16, Sunday 2023, and we are in BBIS class. And we are going to study the last essay under the section philosophy. And I said that philosophy studies questions related to life. For example, in Plato's dialogue, the question that we tried to answer was, what is truth? And how we can know, right? And the question that we ask and answers in Karl Marx, the question was, what is a just society? A just society is one that has no discrimination based on hierarchy and class. Marx doesn't say clearly, openly this thing, but we understand that Marx and Plato are standing together at one point. If Plato and Marx were meeting, let's say, then Plato would say to Marx, sir, I want to create a society that is good. Then Marx would say, I can tell you how to do that. And Plato might say, tell me how I can create a perfect society. Then Marx would say, you can create a perfect society if you can create a classless society. Then Plato would say, how can I create a classless society? Then Marx would say, you can create a classless society if you support the idea of communism. In that sense, Marx and Plato are together. Why? They're answering a question about life. How we can create a better society. How we can create a better society. Plato has a desire for a better society, and Marx gives a solution. We can create a better society if we can support communism, and if we fight against bourgeois, we can create a better society. Now, if you come to Friedrich Nietzsche, and just imagine that Karl Marx, Plato, and Nietzsche, they were in a coffee table, and they were having this discussion, how we can create better society. Just imagine that Plato, Karl Marx, and Nietzsche, they were on a coffee table, having coffee on a Saturday morning somewhere, and they had a common talk. How we can create better society. Plato poses this question because he's the senior most fellow in the group. So he puts a question. Guys, we have a question. Then he puts how we can create better society. And Marx answers. Now Nietzsche is there. And Nietzsche would say, yes, we can create better society if we have balance of forces. Marx would say, no, you're wrong. Marx would say, if Marx were there, Marx would say, that we can create better society only if the proletariat defeats the bourgeois. Marx would say, we can create better society if the proletariat defeats the bourgeois. This is what Marx says. This is what Marx says. He says that ultimately communism will defeat capitalism. And once communism defeats capitalism, Marx proposes 10-point economic reform plan we read last time. 10-point, like end of private property, like that. So Marx would say that we can create better society if proletariat wins bourgeois and we have a classless society. Classless society. So the concept of classless society as propounded by Karl Marx is very impractical. It is found nowhere. And it is 2023, and Karl Marx wrote his essay in 1848. So it's 173 years since he wrote. And nowhere in the world, even North Korea and China, we have not seen a classless society. So Karl Marx's ideas, to my knowledge, could not be implemented 100% anywhere. So in one sense, Karl Marx and Plato are similar. How? Both are idealists. They want to create ideal society, not real practical society. The society Plato wants to create is not possible practically. The society Marx wants to create is not possible practically. They are ideal, perfect society. Right? Now, Nietzsche to me seems to be more realist. Because Nietzsche says that there are dual forces. Dual means two opposing forces in the universe. And to make us understand the idea of duality, Nietzsche brings the concept of Apollonian force versus Dionysian force, right? And Nietzsche says that Apollonian is creative force and Dionysian is destructive force. Apollonian is individualistic force. Dionysian is collectivist force. And Nietzsche says, let's say you can borrow Karl Marx's term and say the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. If Karl Marx, this round table, we have Marx, we have Plato, and we have Nietzsche. So Nietzsche would talk to Marx, and Nietzsche might say, "Dear Marx, your argument that the proletarian should defeat the bourgeois is unrealistic, not possible. One defeating the other is not the idea. One defeating the other. The idea, better idea is balance between the two. Balance between the two." So Nietzsche would say to Karl Marx that your argument that the proletariat should finish the bourgeois and gain all the political power and create classless society is not possible. What is good? The good idea is bourgeois and the proletariat should compromise. Bourgeois and proletariat should. So what are we doing? We are reading Karl Marx from the eyes of Friedrich Nietzsche. We are reading Karl Marx from the eyes of Friedrich Nietzsche, and we are trying to find a solution to Marx as Nietzsche would say. So Nietzsche says that if you can balance between the two forces, what will happen? If you can balance, if you can strike a balance, then you will have a better culture, you will have a better society, you will have better music, you will have better individual. So the solution is balance, not one defeating the other. What is the solution? Balance between two opposing forces. Karl Marx says the solution is one finishing the other. One finishing the other. The proletariat must defeat the bourgeois. The communist must defeat the capitalist. Karl Marx. Nietzsche would say, no, that's not a solution. That's not solution. Solution is balance between communism and capitalism. Right? This was what we studied. I tried to summarize all three lessons in a single 10-minute wrap. Now let's move to fourth essay now we have today. The fourth essay we have today. Can I erase it? Now let's bring Albert Camus on this round table. So all these people, do you see, all these four people, they are talking about life, directly and indirectly. All these these four people, they are talking about society. They are talking about better society. Right? But do you see, these four people were writing at different time. They were writing at different time. Were they writing at the same time? No. Karl Marx is the earliest among them. Before the birth of Christ. For example, if you check the book, what is the time of Karl Marx given? Let's quickly know the time. Quickly. For example, look here. See the time. Just quickly know the time and see the difference. 428 to 347 BC. Then, second, Marx is 1883. Okay. 1883. Okay. Then Nietzsche. See the Nietzsche third. Nietzsche is 1844, 1900. 1844, 1900. Then Camus' time is 1930 to 1960. See, it is truly said that literature is a mirror that truly reflects society. Literature is a mirror that gives you a picture of society. Or in other words, the way a writer writes, depends on the situation in which he or she lives. I repeat, the ideas of a writer, are shaped by the times in which they live. Fifth option. The ideas of any writer are shaped by the times and situations in which they live. For example, Plato's time was feudal. When Plato lived in Greece, people kept slaves at their homes. People kept slaves. They bought and sold slaves. Slavery was accepted in Plato's time. Feudal society. When Karl Marx wrote in the mid-19th century, 1848, there was a revolution around the world. There was fight among rich and poor. And Karl Marx himself lived a very poor life in London. He had no money to support his family. And Engels, his friend, gave him money to buy bread. Karl Marx himself lived a very struggling life. So he talks about poverty. The point I'm making is, what you write, what you say, depends on what kind of life you live. The same, your economic realities shape your ideas. Now, Nietzsche, as we see here, 1844, 1900. Nietzsche's times were also very turbulent. Because of scientific discoveries, the belief in God was disappearing. And every particular religion was attacked. And these were the times of uncertainties. Now we have Albert Camus. Now let's note here certain historical situation when Kamu was writing, then we can better understand what Kamu is trying to say. Kamu was born in 1913 and died in 1960. Let's draw the line. 1960. And if you have some awareness of history, something happened in 1914. What happened? World War I. When did it end? 1918. First World War began 1940 and ended 1918. So how old was Kamu when the war started? One. How old was he when the war ended? 5. And by the time you are 5, you have memories. For example, I was born in 1969 and I clearly remember incidents that took place in 1972. How old I was in 1972? How old I was? I was born in 1969. So how old was I in 1972? 3. And I clearly remember the year because something very important happened that year. No. Can someone tell what happened in 1972? Something very important happened. One space shuttle that was sent to moon failed and many scientists died in that accident. 7 scientists died. And I remember that was called Skylab. Skylab. What was it called? मलाई याद छ म 3 वर्षको थिएँ र म प्रोबेबली स्कुल जान सुरु गरिसकेको थिएँ म क्लास 1 मा हुनुपर्छ 2 मा 1 मा 1 मा There was no lower KG upper KG. No lower KG upper KG. तिमीहरुले भारी बोकाएको त लोवर KG के को लोवर KG upper KG फाल्तु कुरा अहिले मिल्ने भए त स्कुलहरुले पेटमै पढाउँछन् 1 वर्षको बढी फी लिन पाइयो नि त पेटमै पढायो भने 1 वर्ष अझ बढी फी लिन पाइयो नि त क्राइम भइरहेछ एजुकेसन नाममा right? Okay. So what I'm saying, your ideas are influenced by your situation. By your situation. And I said he was born in 1913. When the war started, he was 2 years old. He was 1 month. 14 months, 2 months. 1-2 months. When the war ended, he was 5. Now, Second World War started in 19. Second World War started in. Oh, let me check a GK on camera. Which year did Second World War start? BBIS पढ्ने विद्यार्थीले सेकेन्ड वर्ल्ड वार कहिले भयो भन्दा भन्दैन त तिमीहरुको जिके हेर त तिमीहरुको सोशल अवेयरनेस हेर त तिमीहरुको पोलिटिकल अवेयरनेस हेर त तिमीहरुको हिस्टोरिकल अवेयरनेस हेर त सेकेन्ड वर्ल्ड वार स्टार्टेड 1939 1910 सोशल स्टडी पढेको हैन के पढे सेकेन्ड वर्ल्ड वार स्टार्टेड 1939 and ended in 1945. So how old was he when the war started? 39 plus 29? 26. He was 26. How old was Kamu? 26, when the war started. Right? Now, this essay was written when? Which year? 1942. Oh. This essay was written, let's see, 1942. How old was Camus?
29.
20? Camus was 29 when he wrote this essay. Now you ask me a question. Divakar sir, what is this essay about?
What?
Simple question. What is this essay about? All essays under philosophy in our course are about life and issues related to life. Plato's essay is about life. What is truth? Karl Marx's essay is about life. How we can have a better life. Nietzsche's essay is about life. How we can have a healthier, better life. How we can create healthy civilization, good art, good music, good individual. Camus' essay is also about life. And Camus' essay poses a question about life that it tries to answer, and I would refer you to a line in your introduction. If you see, if you have this book, the course book, page 67, page 67. Let me make you attend this line. Here is the line. Yes. Line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line. Camus found a parallel for man's condition in a world without meaning. Did you find the line? So this essay is about man's condition in a world without meaning. I'll write further. What this essay is about. Okay. Without meaning, a world whose values were self-created or at least community created a world in which many people do things as repetitive and as meaningless as what Sisyphus must do. Whose book did I borrow? Okay. Let me add here a word here. Modern man's condition. Again, let's go back to the coffee table talk among the four scholars. I was bringing a metaphor. I said, imagine that there is a round table in a coffee shop, and we have Mr. Plato sitting on one side. We have Mr. Marx sitting on the other side. We have Mr. Nietzsche sitting on the other side. And we have Camus sitting on the other side. Now all these four philosophers on this coffee table, they are discussing issues related to life, right? And Plato is talking about truth, right? Marx is talking about society and class, right? Nietzsche is talking about forces that shape life, forces that shape life. And Camus is also talking about modern man's life. And imagine that in this conversation, the coffee talk, imagine Camus and Marx are having a dialogue. Then how would they talk? I want to show you a connection between Marx and Camus. Look, in one place in his Communist Manifesto, I'm sorry that we didn't read the whole essay line by line. I dropped in the middle and said you read at home because the long essay and I had paragraphs I couldn't take up in the class line by line. At one point, Marx says that the proletarian is alienated. How? What causes alienation? Labor division. You know, today, see what is modern workers' condition? What is modern workers' condition? Then you will see that modern worker today, as a modern worker condition के छ? Factory में machine उठाउन प्रयोग हुन्छ, robot machine छ, assembly line हुन्छ. तिमी YouTube मा गएर show me just assembly line मा भिडियो हेर. एउटा कन्भेयर बेल्ट हुन्छ, त्यो बेल्टमा पार्ट्सहरु गुडिरा हुन्छ, अनि एउटा मान्छेले त्यहाँ फ्याट्ट जोड्छ राख्छ, अर्काउँछ, फ्याट्ट जोड्छ राख्छ. ख्याल गर्छ YouTube मा तिमीले एसेम्बली लाइन हेर्यो भने एउटा कार बनाउनु पर्यो भने त्यो कार आफै गुड्दै हिँड्छ के. अनि एउटाले टायर फिट गर्छ, अनि टायर फिट गर्ने मान्छेले लाइफ लङ टायर मात्रै फिट गर्छ. ब्रेक बनाउनेले जागिर खाने बेला 20 वर्ष ब्रेक मात्रै बनाउँछ. पेन्ट गर्नेले जागिर खाने बेला पेन्ट मात्रै गर्छ. जुन कामदारलाई जे काम सिकाएको छ सानो पिस अफ वर्क, सानो, त्यसले लाइफ लङ त्यही काम मात्रै गर्छ, राइट? अब त्यो जागिर उसको जागिर गयो, कम्पनी जागिर गयो भने सर्भाइभ गर्न सक्दैन. किन? उसलाई होल काम आउँदैन कि, उसलाई होल काम आउँदैन, पिस मात्रै आउँछ, सानो टुक्रा आउँछ कि. यसलाई भन्छ लेबर डिभिजन. यसले के गर्छ? पहिला एउटै कामदारले पुरै चिज बनाउँथ्यो, 7-8 दिन 10 दिन 1 महिना गरेर बनाउँथ्यो. एउटा इक्जाम्पल दिन्छु, तिमी वर्किङ जान्छौ, वुड वर्किङ थाहा छ नि? यो तिमी यहाँ यो हाम्रो कलेजबाट निस्केर 7 चोकमा गएर चोक क्रस गरेर अनि त्यो मूलबाट गयो भने यो साइडमा चाहिँ थुप्रै सटरमा चाहिँ वुड वर्किङ हुन्छ. आजभोलि पनि त्यहाँ काठमा मान्छेले काम गरेर हुन्छ. तिमी बाइक रोकेर हेर्नु, त्यहाँ लेडिजहरूले पनि काम गर्छ, थुप्रै. मैले के गर्छ, सानो त्यो चिजल लिएर ह्यामर लिएर काठमा बुट्टा गाडेर आउँछ, बुट्टा ढोकाको चौकोस बनाउँछ, ढोका बनाउँछ. है एउटा ढोका बनाउन 1 महिना 2 महिना लाग्छ, 3 महिना लाग्छ. अहिले के भन्छ? कम्प्युटरमा एउटा सिस्टम आएको छ, अहिले एउटा मेसिन आएको रहेछ. तिमीले कम्प्युटरमा डिजाइन हाल, अनि कम्प्युटरले त्यो कार्डिङ मेसिन आउँदो रहेछ. अहिले मेसिन हुन्छ, रोबोट जस्तो, त्यो ल्यापटप कम्प्युटर जोडाइ हुन्छ. अनि तिमीले डिजाइन हाल्यौ कम्प्युटरमा, अनि त्यो कम्प्युटरको सफ्टवेयरले त्यो कार्विङ गर्ने चक्कुले कन्ट्रोल गर्छ र उसले एकछिनमा त्यही बुट्टा बनाउँछ, एकैछिनमा बनाउँछ। भर्खर आएको अब के हुन्छ, अब के भयो, त्यो 2 महिना लगाएर बुट्टा काट्दाखेरि कामको प्लेजर पनि हुन्छ, दे इन्जोय, तिमीको कुरा गर, दे इन्जोय द आर्ट, अनि दे सी ए काइन्ड अफ अट्याचमेन्ट विथ द वर्क। यो मेरो काम दिन्छु, फुल काम गर्छ उसले, पुरै ढोका पनि बनाउँछ। अब त्यही काम मेसिनले गऱ्यो भने के भयो, अब त्यो मान्छेको जब जान्छ, अब त्यो लेबरको जब जान्छ कि उसले कम गर्न सक्दैन नि त, जब जान्छ। किन भन्दाखेरि मेसिनले दिनको 4 ढोका बनाइन्छ, उसले 1 महिनाको ढोका बनाउँछ नि त। कस्ट मेसिनको सस्तो पऱ्यो, उसको महँगो पऱ्यो, अब उसको जब जान्छ नि। अब मेसिनमा काम गर्दा के हुन्छ, जसले बनाइरहेछ नि त्यो कार्य ल्यापटपमा डिजाइन हाल्छ, एन्ट्री की थिच्छ, मेसिनले बनाउँछ। अब ह्युमन एलिमेन्ट हरायो क्या त्यहाँबाट। यु गेट माई पोइन्ट? देयर इज नो सेन्स अफ अट्याचमेन्ट विथ द वर्क। यसरी कल्पना गर, तिमीले बनाएको पेन्टिङको आउने फिलिङ र प्रिन्टरले प्रिन्ट गरेको पेन्टिङको फिलिङ के फरक हुन्छ? फरक हुन्छ नि त। तिमीले 4 दिन 5 दिन लगाएर आफै बनाएको पेन्टिङ र तिम्रो ल्यापटपले प्रिन्ट गरिदियो भने सेकेन्ड के हुन्छ, देयर इज नो अट्याचमेन्ट, देयर इज नो, एन्ड वेन देयर इज नो अट्याचमेन्ट अफ द वर्कर विथ द वर्क, you feel alienated, you feel, and अब जस्ट कल्पना गर, कामु र मार्क्सले प्रयोग गरिरहेछ भने कामु विल से टु मार्क्स, हेलो मिस्टर मार्क्स, you are very true when you talked about alienation and labor division and its adverse effect on psychology. And Kamu will say to Marx, Mr. Marx, today our modern man is like your worker. He is suffering from alienation. And when you feel alienated, you feel lonely. And okay. What was happening when this piece was written? War. Now its effect. War causes alienation. War causes loss of human values. War causes end of reasoning. War causes end of rational thinking. War causes loss of all authority. War brings utter uncertainty. War casts everything in doubt. War causes everything in doubt. And the cumulative effect of all these factors is man starts feeling that life has no meaning. Man starts feeling that life has no meaning. There is war. War leads to this situation, and the cumulative effect of all these factors is you start feeling that life has no meaning. So this essay, which is a philosophical meditation on the issue of suicide. This essay is a reflection on suicide. This essay is or reflection on suicide. What did I say? This essay is a reflection on suicide. Do you think that a 29-year-old person should be thinking about suicide? No. A 29-year-old person should be thinking about dating, should be thinking about Tinder application, should be thinking about romance, should be thinking about sex and drink and wine and life and pleasures, right? A 29-year-old man, most probably, we believe, would think about pleasures of life, right? 29 वर्षको मान्छेले त कतिजना गर्लफ्रेन्ड बनाउने, कतिजना बोयफ्रेन्ड बनाउने, कुन चाहिँ रक्सी खाने, कुन चाहिँ जब गर्ने, कति पैसा कमाउने, कहाँ गएर कमाउने, डेटिङ कहाँ जाने, रमाइलो कसरी गर्ने, जिन्दगी रमाउने कसरी सोच्छन्, हो कि हैन? हो कि हैन? Hello people, do you think about committing suicide? No. Probably no. Some of you might be thinking. If any of you are thinking about committing suicide, please talk to your friend about it instantly. Find a counselor. Find a counselor. Please, if you have suicidal thought, don't suppress them. Share with somebody and find a solution. So one question that this essay is trying to answer is, what should we do? What should we do when we feel that our life has no meaning? This is the question this essay is answering. तिमीलाई कसैले ओके तिमीले पढ्यौ पढ्यौ सोध्यो तिमीले ल भन कामुको एसेले के जवाफ दिन्छ? If someone asks you like that, you simply say, this essay answers the question. What question? What question? What question? What we should do if we feel that our life is meaningless. Shabda. What is your answer? What would you answer? Life. Okay, I'll come to you. Shabda. My life is meaningless and I don't know what to do. What should I do? Brief answer. Quickly. Shabda. I feel my life has become meaningless and I don't know what to do. What should I do? Okay. Shabda said, getting involved with friends. Okay. Medhavi. I'm suppressed, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated, I become suicidal, and I'm very sad. I feel my life